The UFC 279 recap coming at you guys now. Another late night edition. Hopefully you guys are starting to enjoy these late night sessions because you're going to have a lot more of these coming at you. We're going to be talking everything UFC 279. From a betting standpoint, we hit 2 of our 3 official plays. It most definitely should have been a 3-for-3 clean sweep. You guys know we had some questionable judging throughout this card. There was at least 2 fights that we're going to be talking about where the judges really messed things up. And unfortunately for me, one of my official plays was one of those fights, but we should have had the clean sweep. We'll talk about the winners. You know, we got to talk some Kevin Holland. You know, anybody that knew Kevin Holland and that was around the guy, they had nothing but good things to say about him. And, you know, it was devastating what happened at UFC 279. We'll be talking more about that here in a second. Let's jump into the show.
Welcome to the show. This is the MMA fortune teller. Yeah.
The MMA fortune teller.
The teller.
UFC 279, the recap. Here we go. I really felt that this fight card delivered. As you guys know, I enjoyed it, especially for those of you guys that follow me on Instagram at MMA fortune teller _. I was having a great time with this fight card. Another profitable night. We had 2 or 3 plays. It should have been 3 of 3. It should have been a clean sweep. So I enjoy the fact that the time and effort I put into fight tape translated into results. And then as far as some other fights, just from an entertainment standpoint, boy, did they deliver. In the first fight, we had Johan Lainesse defeating Darian Weeks via split decision. I had an official play, a 2-unit play on Darian Weeks at pick'em odds. I grabbed them. I felt very good in that pick there going into this fight. Johan Lainesse, he obviously has problems with his cardio, and we saw him not really willing to push the pace in this fight because he was scared to flop the way he did in his last fight. Throws that overhand right like he's, in the park behind the middle school, going into a little scrap in 7th grade, just really telegraphing it. He does possess some power, but I felt that Weeks's the defensive skills there would have been good enough to avoid that big shot, which they were. And he took the second round convincingly, took the third round, in my opinion. And 2 judges were paying attention to the fact that Lainesse started to scream and celebrate like this and jump on the cage. So they looked at the fighters' demeanors and they because they didn't know what was going on. And they said, oh yeah, we got to give this guy the decision, because I think that's what happened, right? Because he's celebrating instead of actually analyzing what they thought. And that's a mental error on Darian Weeks' part, because when you go in there and you put a stamp in that third round, you get the job done. You're the more active fighter. You're pressuring Lainesse as he's just circling, throwing 10 significant strikes in 10 minutes and just not doing anything. And Weeks, although not solidifying those takedowns, he was the fighter that was aggressing with those takedowns. And Lainesse did absolutely nothing. He does not deserve to win the fight. And the judges messed that up. And I won't go on too much about it, but that was a robbery. And, oh, who's this over here? Look at this. What a joke. No way Weeks lost the second and third. First robbery of the night, I see. Wow, judge went against his fellow Weeks. Could be a distant cousin or something. That's right, because Tony Weeks didn't give Darian Weeks the fight. Hopefully you guys can see these up here. These are all just random people chatting away. Robbery, in my opinion. Shaking my head. So it's going to be that kind of night. Darian Weeks definitely won that robbery. There's my bet. Finish the night. This is a straight robbery, absolute robbery, not a rob. All right, come on. I think we see the trend there. So, all right, I won't go on too much about that, but that was a victory for me. Elise Reed, I picked her to win this fight as an underdog. Went in there, took out Melissa Martinez, the newcomer. Melissa has a lot of room for growth. She's a promising prospect, but Elise Reed now has been in the octagon, 4 times. She bounces back from her losses very well. She's a good striker. I thought she matched up very well with Melissa Martinez, and maybe should throw a unit at that, and I did not. Another regret, Haley Alateng goes out there and takes out Chad Enhilliger, and I thought that he really just made a statement, and I should have took Haley Alateng in that spot there. Should have grabbed him when the line was a little bit lower as well, and had that opportunity. I hesitated. I had him in his last fight against Kevin Kroom, and I do know what he brings to the table. I know what he's capable of, and I slipped up and didn't jump on that, but he gets the job done. Norma Dumont puts on a very impressive performance, in my opinion, going out there and doing what she did to Danielle Wolf. She didn't have to fight that type of fight. She could have went in and had a very grappling, heavy that type of fighting style, and she didn't. She went out there and showcased her striking against a girl, Danielle Wolf, that is very decorated with her boxing. Danielle Wolf did not really evolve that much from the last time we saw her, which was about 2 years ago. And I don't know if her age had something to do with that, because 2 years of training and you're supposed to be this stud athlete that did all these types of sports. I would have wanted to see more growth, and I was very surprised to see that she didn't know how to translate her boxing skills into the MMA cage. That was a little strange to me. Norma Dumont, the target version of a Mackenzie Dern, which is not really as bad of a knock as some of you guys think, because Target, they make some decent stuff in my opinion. I could have went the Pick and Pay or the Walmart version of Mackenzie Dern. I didn't do that, but that's because Dumont's not a bad girl. Winning on one of the judges' scorecards, 30-26. It was impressive, and she showed to be very gutsy to go out there and engage in the striking realm rather than just pushing the grappling, which I felt she could have dominated if she wanted to. And shout out to Norma there. Her stock definitely rises after that fight. Another fighter whose stock rises is Chris Barnett. I definitely believe that at this point in time, Chris Barnett has solidified a spot in the UFC roster for some time to come. I like this post-fight speech too, giving a little shout out to the UFC, playing it smart. And this guy is just fun to watch. He needs to be in all the big-time fight cards. Match him up with some other fun heavyweights. Put him in there with Arlovsky or something like that. I don't know. Chris Barnett is a G. He's a solid dude. He's a really good dude. And he dug deep. He faced some adversity early in the fight. He dug really deep, and then he ended up breaking Collier there. So that was awesome to watch. Now, this was my first official play on the fight card. The first play that I put together when this card was announced. Dennis Teolinen to defeat Jamie Pickett. This was a 1.5 unit play. I got it at plus 110 odds, underdog odds. The dogs were barking. I had to lock this in immediately as I was breaking down this fight card. I didn't understand why Dennis was coming into this fight as the underdog. I thought he matched up very well against Jamie Pickett. Jamie Pickett does not do well when he's pressured and he's under an onslaught. He has some athletic skills, but he really doesn't like to be pressured. How about the fact that Teolinen hit him with that body kick that Pickett tried to sell as a low blow, and I really wasn't seeing that when they showed it on the slow-mo, if I'm being honest. Maybe a little bit of a graze, but nah, it wasn't to the level of what it seemed like. I think Pickett kind of felt that momentum. He was looking for a little break in time, and then the accidental knee to the groin, which did hit him. It looked like it hit him, but they were both clashing. They were both throwing knees. You do not take a point away from Dennis Teolinen there. That was ridiculous. Shame on referee Beltran for doing that. You heard Rogan, and I'm not just saying that because Rogan said that as well, but that was obviously not the right move there. You throw the whole fight off then. Now Teolinen goes out there, takes the second and third round. Now the most he could do is win a draw. I thought that was ridiculous. All right, and Jailton Almeida. Oh, excuse me, real quick. Let's go take a quick look at that official play. It's on my IG if you want to check my write-up. 1.5 units at plus 110. We capitalized there. Rough. The dogs are barking. All right, so from there, Jailton Almeida impressed me in a major way, going out there and doing what he just did to Turkaj, who really favors his grappling, and Almeida went out there and just mopped him down on the mat. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt is very dangerous. He has striking to go along with it. This was a catch weight of 220 pounds. I'm very excited to see what's next for Jailton. I have very, very high hopes for him, and high expectations, I should say. He could be wreaking havoc in the heavyweight division or the light heavyweight division, and I'm excited to see what's next for him. Let's just put it like that. Julian Juicy J. Erosa goes out there as an underdog once again and throws the party off. A lot of people had Hakeem Dawood doing their parlays. Not me, because you guys know I picked Juicy J to win this fight. Now, no official action on him. I should have maybe threw a little 0.5 or a 1 unit at it. Another little bit of a regret there, but Julian Erosa is a fighter that's been around the block for a long time. Look at the difference in pro experience between him and Hakeem. People sleep on Julian nonstop. I just sent him an audio message because he was liking some of my stuff there. I sent him a little audio message. It's time for him to capitalize off a big fight like this and start to make a name in the game. He's put in the work. We're talking about 33 pro fights compared to Hakeem's 15 pro fights. I know Hakeem has some Muay Thai fights as well, but Juicy J, the line was off. Again, it really was. Juicy J is well-rounded. He's an unorthodox striker, and he has some nasty sub skills, and big time performance for him, in my opinion. He went out there and really just took control of that fight. So, two dogs that we picked, him and Elise Reed. And then Johnny Walker was an underdog that I did not pick. I had Ian Cutelaba to win the fight. Johnny Walker went out there and just put on a show, man. This guy, I'm so happy to see him in there doing the worm, getting the victory, doing his breakdancing. This is a fighter that I want to see on these big cards. he's such an entertaining dude, and it was tough to see him go through what he's been going through as of recently, just getting teed off on and knocked out. I thought that Cutelaba was live for that knockout in this fight, and even if he didn't land it, I thought that he would have used his wrestling to kind of solidify rounds and survive, and that was not the case. Walker went out there, showed some jiu-jitsu skills, and maybe what he was talking about as far as taking all that CBD and whatnot. And as we see here, non-CBD Walker is the new mythical fighter. All right, I mean, Johnny Walker, if you don't know what we're talking about, Walker was blaming some of his recent losses on taking CBD because there's trace amounts of THC in it, and it was making him have anxiety and whatnot. But I ain't gonna go on about that. But and the next fight, Irene Aldana takes out Macy Chiasson. This was my final official play. This was the last play that I put together for this card after we lost to some of my other official plays, which I had put together with the 3 fights changing up. They were scrapped. I'll get to those in a second. I threw Irene Aldana together yesterday after the weigh-ins. It was a play that I was contemplating initially, but I did not take, and then ended up taking. Irene Aldana is just an absolute warrior. She hit Macy Chiasson with that liver up kick in the 3rd round. She won the 1st round. She lost the 2nd round. Whoever won the 3rd round was going to take the fight. And I feel confident backing a girl like Aldana all day. She has serious power. She's a warrior, like I said. And I'm excited to see who she gets matched up with next. When she hit Chiasson with that liver kick, it's like nobody knew what happened. The crowd got quiet. I saw what happened. I was watching exactly when it happened. And it was clear as day that she got hit in the midsection. It wasn't a low blow, right? I mean, I guess you don't know, but in that situation. But I don't think it was going to be a low blow, obviously, right? I don't know. But, it was a liver kick. I don't know why everybody was so surprised there. D-Rod gets the split decision victory over Jinglang Li. You guys know that I did pick D-Rod to win the fight with the shake-up prediction video I did last night. But you guys know I got to keep it real with you. I do not believe that D-Rod won that fight. It was a very close fight. But the Leech, in my opinion, won every round there. So nothing but respect to Daniel Rodriguez. I really enjoy everything that he's doing right now. He's got a little podcast himself with my boy Sasha, and D-Rod's as tough as it gets. But the Leech was just a little bit quicker in there, and I thought he was taking those rounds personally. And that was a tough one, right? The judge is a little off there again, right, if we're being honest. And then we talk about the top 2 fights, which I'm very excited to talk about. Oh, and real quick, in regards to Jinglang Li, I did have him essentially in one of my original official plays. When he was supposed to be taking on Tony Ferguson, I targeted the under in that fight. I had an official play on him at under 2.5 rounds in that fight, and it was mostly a sell on the Leech getting the knockout over Tony Ferguson, which I really feel would have happened if they fought. We'll get to the main event in a second. I really feel that play would have capitalized. And another play I think would have capitalized as well was my other play that I had on Khamzat Chimaev to win by KO, TKO, or DQ against Nate Diaz. I don't think Nate was going to survive in there. Maybe he does, but I don't think he was. I like that play that I put together there. Got it at minus 150, scrapped. And then Khamzat Chimaev went out there and took out Kevin Holland. So we put our condolences out to the Holland family and whatnot, and we wish nothing but the best for them at this point in time. And I won't speak on that too much more. All right, so Khamzat, it's the real deal. Just like I said, if Holland got matched up with a guy like Khamzat, it was going to be a wrap for him. He absolutely went out there, ragdolled him, finished him in seconds. That was like some big brother, little brother type stuff. We're talking about the big bully on the yard, going out there, attacking the dough, just taking him, slamming him down, choking him out. But we ain't touching hands once the bell rings. And Khamzat Chimaev goes up in my books a little bit more. So you guys know I was talking about how he's not the most friendly guy, but you go out there, you take out my arch nemesis for me, you handle my lightweight, your stock goes back up. I like his killer attitude. He has to get the weight under control though, and then there's some more entertaining fights to come in the future for Khamzat. So just remember now, you have a fighter like Khamzat that's going to put on entertaining fights for us. He's going to make us excited for these fight cards, and I think that as fight fans, we have to appreciate that, right? Love him or hate him, root for him to get knocked out or whatever you want to do, but we got to be excited when his fights are coming up, and he's probably going to be a guy that has some gold around his waist in the near future, if we're being honest. And that takes us to the main event, Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. You guys know I also picked Nate Diaz to win this fight. So we picked all the 3 top fights correctly there after doing the new video. And overall, we just absolutely slammed this fight card. And let's see here. We hit 1, 2, 3, 4, We lost to Walker 5, 6, 7. Lost that one right there. Not a lot of people were really on Barnett. And, 9, 10, 11. And I should have had that 12 right there, but whatever. But overall, a good overall fight card. And Tony Ferguson has to hang them up. Tony Ferguson talked about the fact that he missed his son's baseball game or whatnot. I thought it was a little ironic if he really wanted to throw some salt in the wound. If you guys remember The Ultimate Fighter, when Tony Ferguson was saying some nasty stuff to that guy in the house about, you need to go find your kid, be there for your kid, because some dude's wife or ex-wife or girlfriend was keeping him away from his kid because they were just parting ways, and Ferguson was all drunk. Well, if you wanted to kind of go full circle, Tony, go be with your kid, because you shouldn't be fighting inside the octagon anymore. You should have dropped those gloves in the middle of the octagon, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I say that as somebody that actually enjoys Tony, and I'm a fan of Tony's, but it's just him and Nate they shouldn't really be fighting against any of the top guys in the world in MMA at this point. Nate Diaz can go capitalize with the momentum that he just had, taking this victory in his last UFC fight when he originally was going to get mopped by Khamzat. So a great turn of events for him. Go take this to the Jake Paul side of things. Go make some money over there. But as far as talking about coming back to the UFC, the only way I see that happening is maybe a trilogy fight with McGregor if the stars align there and make some more money there. But you ain't fighting any of the top active guys at the lightweight division or the welterweight division, because you ain't going to get away with what you got away against a guy in Tony Ferguson that's pretty much physically handicapped at this point in there. I mean, you saw him he kind of collapsed in there. He got tagged with a couple shots, and that set up the choke. All right, remember that. Diaz hit him with a couple shots that set up that choke. It wasn't like he just caught him in a beautiful sub. Tony his body gave out again. He's taking a lot of damage. I told you guys the damage will add up, and that's what happened right there. So that wraps up UFC 279, another profitable night. We go 2 for 3, and it should have been 3 for 3, and I feel very good about that. I take that momentum into some of these big fight cards coming up on the horizon. We've been killing it on the year. We're right around that 50 unit in profits right now, 50 units of profit on the year. I feel very good about that as well. It's pretty much a fact, and it's pretty much guaranteed that we're going to cap this year off as another profitable year. Even if we hit a major slump to end the last quarter of the year, we're going to go profitable. So I feel very good about all that. Shout out to everybody that rode with me on my official plays, who cashed in with me, underdog bets and all that. We're attacking proper lines. And shout out to everyone that tuned in here for the recap video. Hope you guys all had a great night. And we'll be talking very soon. I want to get the Dana White's Contender Series breakdown video out to you guys by tomorrow night. We got some football to attend to. My Miami Dolphins taking on Dana White's Patriots. Hopefully my Dolphins handle business early, and then we can start recording right on 5-6 and get that video out to you by tomorrow night. And that's what's on my agenda. Shout out to all your football teams, as long as they're not in the AFC East. So any of you Bills fans, Patriots fans, or Jets fans, skadoots. For all you other guys, wish you guys all luck. And on that note, signing out. Teller.
Welcome to the show, this the MMA fortune teller. Yeah.
The MMA fortune teller.
The teller.